So Saad Sangat ji, Vaheguru ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki Fateh. Saad Sangat ji, this talk will be recorded, and so this is for Tan Sri Guru Amardas ji Sache Paatshah ji for the Prakash of the Gurpurav ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ on Tuesday. And Bhai Sabji, Bhai Sukhwinder Singh ji Sukhi Baba is going to do a little itihas, a talk on Guru Sahib and their life. So Hanji Sukhi Baba ji, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਓ ਜੀ.
Okay ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਜੀ. So we'll start off with some jap and then we'll get into the talk. Okay ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ. ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ. ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ. ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ. ਕਨ ਹਰ ਬੂੰਦ ਬਸੋ ਰੋਮਾਵਲ ਕੁਸਮ ਬਸੰਤ ਗਨੰਤ ਨ ਆਵੈ ਰਵ ਸਸ ਕਿਰਨ ਉਦਰ ਸਾਗਰ ਕੋ ਗੰਗ ਤਰੰਗ ਅੰਤ ਕੋ ਪਾਵੈ ਰੁਦਰ ਧਿਆਨ ਗਿਆਨ ਸਤ ਗੁਰ ਕੇ ਕਬ ਜਨ ਭਲੇ ਉਨਹਿ ਜੋ ਗਾਵੈ ਭਲੇ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਗੁਣ ਤੇਰੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਉਪਮਾ ਤੋ ਹੈ ਬਨ ਆਵੈ ਭਲੇ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਗੁਣ ਤੇਰੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਉਪਮਾ ਤੋ ਹੈ ਬਨ ਆਵੈ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. So Saad Sangat ji, thank you for first of all bearing with us. Had a bit of technical difficulties and then had to deploy my technical knowledge which I learnt after 4 years at university to do with IT and software, which was to turn the phone off and then back on again. So all them years I spent at uni, they're all worth it. Today I've realised that it wasn't all just a waste of time. So here we are, and thank you very much again for having me join your Sangat on I don't know what this app is again, but anyway, this app. So today, fortunate enough to talk about Guru Amardas ji Maharaj, and this shabad that we started off with. You probably have come across and heard many times before. Kan har boond basoro maval kusma basant ganantana aave. So in the end, palle Amardas gun tere Teri upama tohe bane aave. So these were the Bhatts who met Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, and they sought inner peace and liberation, and they'd been to all of the asthans, where Hindus go to do their pilgrimages, and they had joined and stayed with various sects, like the yogis and sannyasis and so on. But they still couldn't find the inner peace, because they were destined to actually receive that from when Vaheguru, God, will come on this earth. It's himself, and then grant them liberation in his fifth form. So as Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Akal Purkh Vaheguru God, came to this earth in their fifth form, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, when they met, so these Bhatts, when they met Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, then soon as they had Guru Sahib Ji's darshan, soon as they just saw them without a word being spoken, just having Guru Sahib Ji's darshan, just by looking at Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, they received that inner peace, and then they wanted to maintain that. And then Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said that they can have that if they do ustat of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, if they sing praises of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So what they ended up, so it's a long itihas, but just to cut long story short, in the end they have written in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj the ustat, the praise of the gurus, the five gurus, and they write about Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. So I'll just pick that up to start with that last shabad. Savaiye mahalle tije ke, so palle Amardas gun tere. So palle, they start with Palla was Guru Sahib Ji's ancestry. So this is where they come from. The family sort of lineage was from the Palle, and Palle can be traced all the way back to Sri Ramchandra Ji's time. So obviously Ramchandra Ji is a prophet, and he had a younger brother whose name was Bharat, and his lineage continued, and then so came the Palle Vansh, and then Guru Sahib Ji was born in that Vansh, so that lineage. So Palle Amardas Gun Tere. So the Bhatts, they're praising Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj in the end. So they sing like a lot of praises of Maharaj. I think it's about 19 shabads in Savaiye altogether. And this is the last one. And then after they sing the praises of Guru Amardas Ji in the end, the Bhatts are saying that Palle Amardas Gun Tere, the Palleyan de Kolwale. So from the lineage of the Palle Guru Amardas Ji, that your gun, your virtues, they are beyond. There is no limit to them. And then no one can actually do your ustad. No one can actually really sing your praises, because there is no end to your virtues. You can say a lot of words in your ustad, but it can never be enough. And then they say, Teri upama tohe bane aave. Par Sri Guru Amardas Ji, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਗੁਣਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ. Your gone virtues can never be counted. And they're saying, Maharaj, there is sometimes you look for an example or analogy to explain how great someone is, and then in the end the Bhatts are saying, Maharaj, there is no analogy that can be given here to explain your greatness. So this was the Bhatts. So that's the shabad we started off with, Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, that your upama, your praise can never be sung properly. And just going back to, so we'll come to some of the historical side of it as well. I just wanted to just talk about what the pots say about Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj that is written in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, so you can read that yourself. And so this is the Ustad, the praise that they have sung of Guru Sahib Ji. So just to kind of like, go back to one of the shabds, Guru Sahib Ji Ustad being done here by the part saying Sat Suro Seal Balwant Sat Pai Sangat Sagan Guru Mat Nirvan Lina. So parts are saying that Guru Sahib Ji is the epitome of Sat, the truth, and Suro meaning that Guru Sahib Ji is a Surme, meaning a warrior. And then also Guru Sahib Ji has the ultimate Sealta, meaning that the humility. And also Guru Sahib Ji is Balwant, that Maharaj has got a lot of Bal. So obviously from a very young age, so if we just sort of start back with, so just remember those four things here. So that's associated and mentioned here by the Bhatts in Ustad and the praise of Guru Amardas Ji, that they're saying that Maharaj is the epitome of Sat, is a truth. The Suro means Surame, a warrior, and Silta, so meaning humbleness, and then Nimrata, and then Balwant. Balwant hunda Bal, Shakti, power, right? So from a very young age, when Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, Satguruji's Prakash happened. So it happened in the house of Baba Tejpan Ji and their mother Mata Lakshmi Ji. And their grandfather's name is Baba Harji, and their great grandfather Baba Bishan Das Ji. So it also goes back to Baba Ram Narayan Ji, their great grandfather. So Guru Sahib Ji's Prakash happened in a place called Basarke. And it took place same year as Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, 1469. Now there are some historians that have given a later date as well, but so the one that obviously I sort of have come across more and sort of I believe is the correct one is that one in so 1469. So that was 1526. This was the Bikrami calendar that we follow. So that was the date in the Bikrami calendar. But according to the Gregorian calendar, it was 1469, and Guru Sahib Ji Prakash happened in the print called Basarke. So Guru Sahib Ji was Maharaj Prakash happened in the Khatri sort of household. So obviously you got the Brahmins, Khatris, Sudhva. So although sort of we don't follow follow that sort of social order, but Maharaj was Prakash happened in that household. Khatriyan de ghar Guru Sahib Ji da jehda Prakash hoya. And when Guru Sahib Ji where Guru Sahib Ji was born, the Basarke pind was quite huge, both badda siga. And the Maharaj's grandparents by Bishan Das Ji, he was very sort of sweet spoken, but in Nimrata wale, a lot of humility they had. And then he was a very successful businessman, and by Bishan Das Ji then had a son called by Harji, and then Harji was also raised in the same environment. So in their household, just from the grandparents. So if you remember those four words, sealata. So having that seal, meaning that humility, the humbleness, that was in their family from their grandfather's time. They were very softly spoken, and they had a lot of nimrata, a lot of prem for everyone, a lot of love for everyone. And so obviously they raised their son like that. And then obviously this is then Tej Panji, then Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's father was raised the same. So after a short while, then Bhai Tej Panji, so they were then married to Lakshmi Ji. So and then they had a son. So Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj was the first born, and they were 4 brothers, but Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj was the eldest, and their younger brother, so Bhai Ishardas Ji, and then it was Bhai Khemrai Ji and Bhai Manak Chand Ji. So they were 4 brothers. Huh? So just a little bit about their brothers as well. Bhai Ishardas Ji was very sort of knowledgeable person, and he was also blessed with a son. Then he became one of the greatest scholars that we have in our dharma, called Bhai Gurdas Ji. So Bhai Gurdas Ji has written a lot of text as well. They've written a lot of vara and kabits, so in poetry, and their bani, their writings, as we know that they have the title of the key to Guru Granth Sahib, to understanding. If you want to understand Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, a great way to unlock all that sort of knowledge and gyan is through the key, which is by Guru Das Ji's Yavara. So they actually belong to Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's family. So their youngest brother, Bhai Ishar Das Ji, so and it's in their family. So then another brother called Bhai Khem so he was also a very humble a person as well. And then Bhai Manak Chandi, and he was a very respected person and was very hardworking, and he inherited the family business. And then his son Bhai Jassoji, he was then married to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's daughter Bibi Amroji. So this is quite important to actually know that bit of the history, that their youngest brother Bhai Manak Chandaji, his son Bhai Jassoji, so they were married into Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's family. So Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's daughter Bibi Amroji, and we'll get to how she was really influential in bringing Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj to Guru Angad Dev Ji, and then hence they got the Gurta Gadi, and then they became the third Guru. So she was quite instrumental in that, and she played a big role. And Bhai Manak Chand was very poor, as he had only didn't have much, and he used to do a lot of his trade. He only had one horse, so he used to do this trade, and so he wasn't like well off, but he was again very humble, and he was content with what he had. And obviously then he got married to Bibi Amroji. Sorry, there was just a phone call that came, so apologize for that. Hanji. So from a very young age, Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj was educated by his father at home, and as a young age, he started helping their father, Tej Banji, in the karobar and business. And he would sit in the shop all day helping whatever that needed doing. And he had no real sort of fascination for any worldly things. he was always focused on just doing whatever was asked of him by his father, all the house duties, but his mind always remained focused on Paramatma, on Vaheguru, and anybody who reminded them of Vaheguru Paramatma. So they would see any sadhus, any holy people, they would always go out their way to feed them, help them, and also sit down with them and have like discussions with them, talk about God. So their focus had from a young age, even when they were a child, from that young age, that was their interest. So like the other kids, how they were busy with just playing and things like that, but they were like more interested in finding somebody that could tell them about God, that could speak to them about spirituality, and that can speak to them about sort of inner peace, so about connecting to Paramatma. So that's what they were interested in, and they would look for any opportunity where they would make that sort of that habit of theirs sort of possible. So at the same time, they would go to places where sort of like you have some of these Hindus where they go to do their pilgrimages. They would go to Hardwar and have Ishnan there and things like that as well. So go and bathe. So once they were coming back after having the Ishnan, so it's not like in some historical texts it says that Guru Sahib used to go and bathe in the Ganges every 6 months, and sometimes it says every year. But sort of it is more sort of correct to from other historical sources that although Maharaj did used to go to Ganga, not just to obviously in those days, that's all people had. So if they wanted to connect to Paramatma, to God, they would connect to those places where they could find those sadhus, where they could find those people of God, and they would often be found in places like Ganga Ishnan Jana, Hardwar Jana, and places like that. So it wasn't the case that sort of Maharaj believed in going and having Ishnan at Ganga or bathing in the river or anything like that. But what Maharaj did have was that hunger to go and be with the sangat of the company of other sadhus and God-minded people. So Maharaj was coming back one day, and then there was a Pandit. His name was Durga Dutt. So now Durga Dutt had this vidya, like his vidya was called Samundrik Vidya. So it's an art basically you learn, Samundrik Vidya Sikhni, like a Gyan, that by just looking at somebody, they were able to tell what sort of a person they were. So if they were like really holy people, or they were sort of say Badshah, if they were kings or belong to a noble family or whatever, they could tell. So this Samundrik Vidya allows people to read people basically by their physical appearance. So this Pandit Durga Dutt had that Vidya, and when he saw Guru Amardas Maharaj, he saw this chakra that was in Guru Amardas Maharaj's foot. So there's this like nishan, this like a sign, sort of like or you can say a birthmark, or however you want to sort of understand it. But he had that mark on Guru Sahib's foot, and he looked at that and he sort of worked out that this person could either be avatar, so avatar meaning like incarnation of a god or Paramatma, or this person is like a king. And then he looks at Guru Amardas Maharaj's vastar, his clothes, and then he sees that Maharaj doesn't look like a king. So he must be the other, where he must be like an avatar. But then he starts thinking, but he can't be an avatar either, because here he is amongst like sort of normal people, and everybody else is just treating him like a normal person. So he's kind of like in a bit of dubda, like a bit of doubt, but he can't understand that according to what he's learned, he's either sort of a avatar, incarnation of a god, or he's a raja, but he can't see anything to kind of else other than that mark on Maharaj's foot to suggest that. So he just waits, and then he waits for Maharaj, because Maharaj is doing aram, so they're like basically resting. For when Maharaj wakes up and he's sitting there, and what Maharaj does, it was his sabah to actually give money to any sadhus or pandits. Then Guru Amardas Maharaj reached into his thilla, his bag, and he pulled out some money, and they're about to give to Durga Dutt. And Durga Dutt basically turns around and says, please, I don't want this money. And then he says, look, I have this doubt in my mind. I know that you are one of these people. You're either a Badshah or Dunya Shahnshah, or a king, or you are an avatar, an incarnation, or which one are you? And then Guru Amardas Maharaj, they smile, they say, look, only God knows the answer to that question. All I have for you is this Maya, if you want to take it. And then Pandit Durgadatta turned around and he says that I won't accept this from you, but I will come back when the world finds out which one you are. I will come back, and then I will ask for basically dakshana, for dakshana is when somebody gives you money or gives you other things, like that the Raja would give money, or they give like horses or whatever dakshana. So he said, Maharaj, please, when I come back to you, then please give me what I want. So in his heart, he knew that this is an avatar sort of a person. So he's an incarnation, and then he realizes that it's just that the world doesn't know yet. But when the world finds out, when they do become like Jahar to the world, and then become a great guru, then I will go and then see them. And this dakshana they want to give me, then I will ask from Maharaj is liberation. And he thinks in his mind, if I accept this bit of money from Maharaj now, that is nothing. But if I say to Maharaj, I'll come back when the world finds out who you really are, and then I'll ask something of you. And when I do ask, please, whatever I ask for, please give it to me. And in his mind, he was thinking, I will ask for liberation. So meri mukti ho jabe, hai na? So that's what he has. So he was the first sort of person to realize that this is an avatari push, that Maharaj is some sort of avatar on earth. So obviously in his mind, he's thinking maybe Guru Sahib is either Vishnu the avatar or koi aur avatar. But little did he knew that that's Paramatma himself, hai na, on earth. So he was the first person to realize that Guru Sahib Ji is an avatar. So that's his name, is Durga Dutt. So if you remember, I was saying that Guru Sahib Ji's younger brother, Bhai Manak Chand Ji, so he had a son, Bhai Jasso Ji, and then he was married to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's daughter, Bibi Amro Ji. So we're going to come to a bit now where Guru Sahib Ji now goes and meets Guru Angad Dev Ji. So this is Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj when they go and meet Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. So these are the events that take place before that. So as I said before, Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's nature was to find any sadhus and any like holy people, and then he would do their seva. So once they were coming back from some business trip, and then there was this brahmachari. So brahmachari are people who don't get married, Hannah. Hence, they live happy lives. Only joking. So married people can live happy lives as well. I think anyway. Well, I hope. But anyway, so this is besides the point. So he's a brahmachari, and obviously he was quite happy. And he meets Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, and they're walking back to the village, and he realizes that this person, Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, is a great soul, and he has a lot of wisdom. And in his mind, he's thinking, if I stay with him, perhaps like everything that sort of I can sense from him, he's got this real he could sense a real sort of power in Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, and he was thinking, if I stay with him, maybe then he will take me to his guru, that who's given him all of this sort of shakti, and maybe I can sort of attain the same thing. So he stayed with Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. They go, and then Maharaj takes as they reach their village, and Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj takes them to their house, and they basically do seva and give them prasada to eat as well. So this brahmachari is really happy, and then he starts asking Maharaj, that Guru Amardas Ji, that you're such a great person, and you're so wise, and you have all this knowledge of Paramatma. Who is, please introduce me to your guru. So at this time, Guru Sahib's age the Maharaj was 71 years of age at this point. And then Maharaj turned around and said that, I'm 71 and I have spent all my life in search of a true guru, but I have not found one yet. And then as soon as the brahmachari hears that, he kind of turns and he thinks, hang on. So, because it was considered to eat from a negura meaning somebody who doesn't have a guru, to basically eat from their house was like a big deal. If you ate from the house, all the good virtues that you collected over the years through your meditation or whatever was lost. This was what was sort of considered at the time. So the brahmachari now starts saying that Maharaj, saying to Guru Amardas Ji that you have ruined any sort of kamai that I had, that was in my bank balance. That's all gone now. Because I ate from you and you are in Nagura. And he sort of leaves the house quite sort of angry. And that has a deep effect on Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, thinking that I'm 71 years of age and here's I've upset some Maharaj. So Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj saw any sadhus or any yogis or any brahmacharis or any sannyasis. Maharaj just saw them as people of God, Paramatma. So he was upset. Maharaj was upset that this person of God, he has left his house angry, and it's all because I don't have a guru. And then Maharaj is like, but I have gone, everywhere, but I've not found one person who gives me that, sort of inner peace. I've not found that guru. So Maharaj sort of that night he stayed awake. He couldn't go to sleep. So Maharaj is walking around, and then as Maharaj is walking around really early in the morning, so it would have been about say 1:30 or 2 a.m. in the morning, then he hears a voice. Now this voice is of Bibi Amroji. So Bibi Amroji, remember, is daughter of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, who is married to their youngest brother Manak Chand's son, Bhai Jasodi. And Bibi Amroji is actually reciting Japji Sahib the part. So Bibi Amroji is doing Japji Sahib the part, and they carry on reading Japji Sahib, and then part of their Nitnem, they carry on reading, then they start Asa Diwar. So Bibi Amroji is now reciting Asadivar, but as she's reciting it, she starts to sing Asadivar. So she reaches this Pankti in Asadivar, Balihari Gure Apane, Deohari Sadvar, Janamanaste Devte Kiye Kartana Lagivar. So that comes in the beginning of Asadivar. That I must sacrifice Balihari Gur Apane to my Guru. Sadalai for forever I must sacrifice. Janamanaste Devte Kiye. The Guru that turns the manas, the mere sort of mortal human beings into devte, into gods, and he does it in an instant. So they are reading Asadivar, and as the Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj hears more and more of Gurbani, as Bibi Amarji is reciting it, Guru Sahib Ji starts falling in love with it more and more. And as Bibi Amarji is reading it, at one point, Guru Sahib Ji is just kind of so stunned, like his body just like not moving, and he's just so focused on the Shabad. And then they are listening. But Bibi Amarji hasn't seen Guru Amardas Ji listening to her. But as soon as she notices, she stops. And then Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, then they open their eyes and they say that please do not stop. That for 71 years I have been on this earth. I've been looking for words that would give me that shanti, that inner peace, and that I've never come across these words that you are reciting. Because when you were reciting, whilst you were reciting, my insides, they were so calm and peaceful, but now that you have stopped, they've gone back to how they were. So please do not stop. Please keep reciting it. So Bibi Amroji then completes her Nitnem, and Bibi Amroji reads other Baniya of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And then after they finish, then Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj heart, inside Guru Sahib's heart, is just like kind of it's filled with so much joy and like sort of light, and they're thinking that the time has come now. That search I was on, they can feel it ending, because they thought to themselves that whoever wrote this Bani, Bibi Amroji knows who it is, and she can take me to them. So they ask, "Is Shabad kida? Whose Shabad, whose Bani is it that you're reading?" So they say, Bibi Amroji says that this is the Bani of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And then Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj says, "Can you take me to Guru Nanak Dev Ji?" And then Bibi Amroji says that I can't, unfortunately, because physically you can't have darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. But in his place is my father, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. O Gadi te baithe, but I can take you to them. So Guru Sahib Ji then says, "Theek hai, apana kul, please take me to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj." But when Bibi Amroji got married, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj said to Bibi Amroji that from now on, your house is going to be where your husband's house is. That's your house. And as you do my seva, you do his mother and father's seva, and you do your husband's seva, and do not come back to see me unless I call for you. So now Bibi Amroji says to Guru Amardas Ji, "I can take you to Maharaj, but this is what Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj said to me, that do not come to see me unless I call you." So she says that Maharaj hasn't called me, so it's difficult for me to actually go and see them. And but Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj says, "Look, please take me to Maharaj, and I will explain to them why you did what you did. Why have you come to see them? Don't worry about that. I will explain to them." So she says, "Theek hai." And then when Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj goes with Bibi Amroji to go and see, have darshan of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. As soon as they see Guru Angad Dev Ji, now if you look at the worldly relationship that they have, is that Guru Angad Dev Ji's daughter is married to their Guru Amardas Ji's nephew, basically. And this is like the worldly rishta relation that they have. So Guru Sahib Ji then goes, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj goes to receive Guru Amardas Ji. But Guru Amardas Ji starts grabbing Guru Sahib Ji's charan feet. And then Guru Angad Dev Ji turn around and they say, Maharaj, you are my kodam, that theek nahi that you're grabbing my feet, hai na, tusi mere charan pende. And then Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj says that I'm not here in that capacity. I'm not here as your kodam, Maharaj. I'm here as your Sikh. So I'm here as your disciple. So Maharaj grabs their charan, and then they afterwards, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj picks them up and they say, look, tusi aage prashada shako, then they eat. And then after that, Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj has so much sort of prem, love in their heart after seeing Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. Their heart gets, full of so much love that they don't want to leave. And they say to Bibi Amro Ji that tusi hun, wapas jao, and I will stay here in service of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. So Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj decides to stay. Now at this time, obviously the age is quite old, so 71 years of age. And in those days, that was like a really old. So Purane Samay de vich, people didn't used to live, that long. So that age was considered quite old, 71. And then they actually started doing seva of Maharaj at that age. Now, they would do seva in the langar, and then they would help with the prashada, they would help with gathering the wood, they would help with the serving, they would help with making the langars. And then whatever time that they had spare, they would go and just meditate. And then in their heart, they wanted to do seva for Maharaj. That was really difficult, and nobody else, or they wanted to do seva that was really like tough, and nobody else wanted to do. And one of those sevas was to go and get pani. So where Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj was based, this was at Khadur Sahib, the nearest source of water was in Beas River. And Beas River is about 10 kilometers away from Khadur Sahib, and that's like about 6 miles. So to get water, you would have to walk 6 miles. And then one of the biggest seva was to actually get water for langar, and also get water for Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj Ishnan, so that they can have their Ishnan early hours in the morning. So that was one of the hardest seva. And then the sort of trek itself, it was full of, it was basically like a jungle. So you'd have to walk through the jungle, and then obviously there's like wild animals and everything. And obviously to get water for Maharaj Ishnan to happen at Amrit Vela, you would have to leave really early, because it would take you about 2.5 hours to actually walk to get pani, and then walk that much distance back. But Maharaj really wanted that seva, and then with Guru Sahib Ji's blessing, they ended up getting that seva. So they would leave really early to get to the Beas River, and then they would get the pani, and then would come back so that Maharaj had water ready at Amrit Vela for them to have Ishnan. So Guru Sahib Ji did that seva for 12 years, 12 saal. 12 years. So you can imagine they started doing that seva, leaving really early, walking 6 miles, to the river, getting water, and then walking 6 miles back. And it wasn't like that's you done for the day. That's when they would get back. That's when the day would start. So after Guru Maharaj Ishnan, then they would have their Nitnem, and then Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj then would go into the langar, and then they would do seva in the langar. They would serve Maharaj, they would serve the Sikhs, and also Maharaj would then also wash Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's clothes as well, and other seva like that. So they would do seva all day as well. And then you can imagine, starting at the age of 71, and then Maharaj carried on the seva for 12 years. So till they were 83, 83 di umr. And in that age, this was Maharaj's daily routine. And to test Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's Sitalta, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj didn't speak to them. So every year, as they would come to the end of like the year's seva, what Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj would give them was a parna, basically a hajuriya or like a surupa. And then what Guru Amardas Ji would do, they would get that surupa and they would tie that on their head. And that's all Maharaj would, that's the only interaction that, you know, Maharaj would have with Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj would have with Guru Amardas Ji, because they were just testing Maharaj. But you know, sort of how much do they really, all the seva that they are doing, but have they got that inner peace that allows them to carry on with that seva? Or is it that Baron de Kanu, like, you know, sort of sometimes it's a lesson for all of us. Just want to kind of make a point here as well, that when we talk about Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj testing Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, it's not that they're testing Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. What they're testing is us. So, as an example, so when they were testing Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, they're giving us a lesson to learn from that they didn't speak to Maharaj. So you can imagine, if you're doing such a big seva for Guru Sahib Ji, but Maharaj doesn't even speak to you, right? And doesn't even say anything to you. And they're not concerned about, because Maharaj is bastar, kapde, or pate. So Maharaj didn't even say, look, you know, tusi seva kar de, you do seva of the Guru Kar, here's some new clothes, you know, have some new clothes. Or like, you know, have this, you know, jode, this chappala, or basically looking after Maharaj. So Maharaj didn't have that. So what Guru Sahib is saying, that when we do seva, we should do seva like Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. That even after doing such hard seva, because sometimes people like me, we tend to complain, and sort of if we don't get instant results of you know, seva that we do, we kind of start thinking that, you know, maybe I should just try something else, or maybe I should go somewhere else. This is not happening, or, you know, sort of, is this whole thing even real, or is it just all make belief because I can't feel anything, or, you know, sort of I can't, you know, I'm not progressing, I'm not getting what I want. But what Guru Sahib is saying is trying to teach us here is that this is how you should do seva. That even if you don't get anything from Guru Maharaj, even if you don't feel anything, if you don't get anything, you don't leave seva. Apa seva nahi chhadni, bhaਵੇਂ jo marji ho jaye. The come of a sevak is just to do seva, and that's it, right? And that's how we should do seva. So this was what Maharaj was trying to teach us through Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. So like, ape bahut bidrang hai, ape bahurangi. So what Guru Sahib is saying is that in both sides, it's them. So they're playing that role. So Paramatma, Vaheguru is playing the role here. On one side, they are Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, so they're the Guru. And on the other side, Paramatma is Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, who's playing the Sikh. So they're setting that example for Sikhs to follow. So this is, I just wanted to kind of explain. Sometimes we think that, so why is Maharaj testing Guru Sahib Ji? But surely, if they are like gurus, they don't need to be tested, and Maharaj should know that they're going to pass the test anyway. But this was the reason why this was done. So for 12 saal, Maharaj did seva. So 12 saal, every year, the only thing that they would get from Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj was a parna, so basically like a sropa. So they would tie on their, and what they would do every year, they would tie that on their head. So 12 saal baad, so now in the 12th year, so this one night, as the Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj is walking towards Byas River to get the pani, this is a very bad night. So there's a storm, and there's a lot of it is said that it was so bad that it actually uprooted a lot of trees in Hawa Wagdi Sigi. And then you can imagine an 83-year-old person now walking through that storm to go to the river to get pani and then walk back. So, and carry that heavy weight as well, the gaggar. So, and as they were coming, Guru Sahib Ji was coming back, because of the storm, what happened, they went past this Jalaha's house. So Jalaha is basically, they make like clothes. So this Jalaha, he had this killa, so like a wooden sort of piece that he had stuck in the ground, which he used to basically make clothes. But as Guru Sahib Ji was walking past, they couldn't, because of the storm, they couldn't see it. And then, Maharaj basically stumbles, but he manages to keep the gaggar, the kada with the water in it, safe. And then inside the house is that Jalaha and his wife. So they hear the noise, and then the Jalaha's wife, so Jalaha says to his wife that awaaz pata nahi kadi hai, what's this noise? And then it could be a chor. And then the Jalahi, his wife, she laughs and says that, so what a chor gonna come here for to our house? We don't have anything. They'd be lucky to find anything in our house during daytime. Why would they come at night? So she says, it can't be no chor. Let me go and have a look. So as she opens the door to have a look, she sees it's Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. And she turns around and says to her husband that, I told you, no chor, Amru Nathawa, Amru Nathawa, she says. And which means that Amru means Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj is in Nathama, meaning that he doesn't have a place. So what she was saying was, what people used to, that was the other thing. Sometimes when you're doing seva, you have to hear a lot of things. People kind of like, talk about you or whatever it is. They slander you or jovia. But when you're doing seva, you should just remain focused on your seva. So when Guru Amardas Ji used to do seva, a lot of people used to laugh at him, and they say, look in his old age that, sort of he's sucking up to Guru Sahib Ji, and sort of he hasn't got a home. He's got a perfectly good house, but he doesn't go home. And they think, maybe his car, they don't want him in the house. So people used to say that he hasn't really got a house, he hasn't got a place. So she turns around and she says, it's the Amru Nathama, meaning that Amru who doesn't have a place. And Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj then hears those words, and then he says to her that, Kamaliye, main Nathawa nahi, mera Guru de charna ch thaya. That look, Kamali meaning like somebody who's mad, hai na, jada Kamala ho janda. And she said, look, basically she was saying like, mad woman, I have a car, a place that is with the Guru. I'm not Nathama. And it is written in Itihas that in history that as soon as, because at that point after 12 years of seva, Guru Sahib Ji had so much bakshish, obviously has so many blessings, although Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj didn't used to say anything, but from inside, they had given Guru Sahib Ji a lot of power, a lot of Shakti, a lot of blessings. And one of those Shakti was whatever Guru Amardas Ji would say would come true. So as soon as Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj said, Kamliye, said to the Jalahi, that Jalaha's wife, she actually became Kamli. So she started acting like a mad person to the point where the Jalaha, her husband, got so like worried, he had to sort of like tie her up for her own safety, like so. And he was like, and he realized that it's because Guru Amardas Ji said Kamliye, she's gone Kamli, and he realizes that the only salvation now is if I go and see Maharaj in the morning. So the next day, when obviously Guru Sahib Ji then gets back, and then Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj has the Ishnan, and then the next day the Jalaha comes with his wife, and obviously he's Kamli. So, and then he explains what happened. Sara kuch das diya. So after she then, sort of does namaskar, she bows to Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's feet, and then she becomes okay again. For murke odi mat wapas aa jandi hai. And at that point, then Guru Sahib Ji Maharaj then gets all the sangat and then explains that this person which you say is a natama, that you laugh at, that say that his inner is the same as mine, saying that he has become the same as me now through seva, saying that he has become the same as the Guru, that he has got the tha in Guru Nanak's house, he's got the tha in Paramatma's house, he's got the jaga, he's got the place in Guru Nanak's house. You say he has no place, but he has made his place in Guru Nanak's house. He has become Guru Nanak's house. So then Maharaj then explains to the whole Sangat that जो इन्होंने सेवा की भी सिख जड़ा आ उन्होंने इदा सेवा करनी चाहिए. And when we talk about seva, there is 3 types of mal it takes care of. So Guru Sahib Ji explains about seva. What is seva? Maharaj says that how Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj has done seva, that's how a Sikh should do seva. And what would happen when you do seva like that? Guru Sahib Ji says that you get 3 benefits for doing seva, which is ek te tadi mal le jandi, दूजा विखेप जड़ा ओ मिल जांदा, and then you have a varn. So what that means is that when we doing seva, there's 2 types of seva. Is ek hundi ya jehdi assi koi kamna karke seva karde, meaning that you have some sort of ichha, you want something from Guru Maharaj, or or whatever, and you've got some sort of ichha that you're doing seva for. And then the other is nishkam seva. So when we do seva where we have a kamna, meaning like a ichha, a want, then what happens is that seva will get you what you want, but it will not get rid of the inside sort of filth that you have gathered from being in different life forms. Meaning that your inside will not be cleansed for you to attain salvation. That will still remain the same. Whereas you can get the worldly things, but andro mail nahi lendi. So that only happens through nishkam karm. So when you do seva without any want or ichha, like how Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj did, then what happens is your antishkaran, meaning your inside, your andro becomes nirmal. So you become andro shuddh, so you become pure from inside. And then the other gift of doing seva nishkamta de naal is that your mind will come under your control. And then the third is that you get the gyan. So the gyan, the wisdom, the Brahma gyan. So Maharaj saying that this is how Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj has done seva. So at that point, then Guru Sahib Ji then tells Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj to go and have Ishnan kara ke, and then they get the bastar. So the new clothes are then given to Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, and then afterwards, then Guru Sahib Ji then takes those 12. Remember, every year Maharaj would give like a surupahana that Guru Amardas Ji would tie on their head every single year. So they had 12 of those parne, and they tied them with a rassi, with a rope. So Maharaj, takes the rope off, and then Guru Sahib Ji then ties a dastar on Maharaj's head, and then they give Gurta Gaddi to Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. So then they become the Guru. So I'm just looking at the time. I think it's quite sort of late. So what I'll do, I'll stop up to this point where Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj has become the Guru now. And then they then move to a place called Goindwal Sahib. So, and then the Sangta start going to Goindwal Sahib to see Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj. So what I'll do is I'll stop here. So I'll take any questions if anybody got any questions.
Bhai Sabji, the Sangat's still here. If you wanna, you can continue for longer if you wish to, if you have time.
Acha, theek hai. I mean, I can. So if anybody has got a question, I can take that. We can take that now, or I can just go on a little bit more if you like.
We do have a few questions. Yeah, we've got like 8-9 questions.
Okay, theek hai. Yeah. So we'll take the questions. Yeah. We'll take the questions first, and then we'll see how we're doing with time. And then, yeah.
Firstly, thank you so much for telling us about Guru Amardas Ji Sache Paatshah. Okay, sawal aunda ya. So, what is the most fundamental teaching of Guru Amardas Ji that we should follow?
Yeah, so this is it. The seva, hai, the aspect. So from their life, it's the seva that Maharaj did, and with, like I'm saying, with nishkam, seva karni nishkamta de naal. So nishkam meaning that without any kamana, without any want, ichha, without any desire, and also not caring about what people say. So like I'm saying, as Maharaj would do seva, a lot of people would laugh at Maharaj. They say, "Oh, dekho, bujurg, like, sir, ace umar ch jaake, like, he's doing, seva, he's trying to suck up to Maharaj." And from the worldly point, people would say, "Hang on, they from like, like in the Indian sort of desi culture, sort of, if you like from the boy side, then, sort of, you should get it's like you have the upper hand kind of thing. If you are from a girl's side, you kind of like, sort of, you there like sort of, how can I say, the more sadaqar is done for the boy side, their family, and then the people were looking at and saying, look, hang on, well, Amardas Ji is actually his nephew is married to Guru Angad Dev Ji's daughter. Surely, like, sort of, apni jagah, like in society, they vadde, and but here he is doing seva for his Quram like that. So that was the other thing that, people would say, and they would say a lot of things to Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's family. They would go back and say, look, please go and call him back. Look, he's embarrassing the family. That, sort of, there, a lot of things. But Maharaj didn't care about any of that. He was focused on doing seva for his Guru. And, that's what he did. So nishkamta de naal seva karni, and not looking at what world is saying, what people are saying, because people will laugh at you, or people will try and discourage you, whatever they, they try and do. But, we have to kind of disregard all of that and just, focus on the seva, a task at hand. So that's one of the biggest things. And also being santusht with Maharaj, and also trying to find the anand, the peace, the bliss from doing the seva itself. So not sometimes we kind of start measuring sort of our our progression. We say, how have we progressed in Sikhi. Sometimes people like they get into this, oh, I want to attain this level, I want to attain this level, but kind of not caring about anything and just always being happy with what Maharaj is giving. So like in Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's case, every single year the only thing that they would receive from Guru Angad Dev Ji was just one like sort of sarupa, and then the one that they would tie on their head, and that was it, and nothing else. And Maharaj wouldn't even speak to them like koi gal baat, like other than obviously like few sort of words here and there. They wouldn't actually sit down and speak with Maharaj, or say anything like that. So sometimes when we feel sort of detached from Maharaj, we don't feel anything. You're like, I'm doing part one, I'm doing seva, but I'm not feeling anything, right? You gotta look at Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj's life. For 12 years they did, and their seva, like I'm saying, doing seva at that age, walking 6 miles to the river, through a jungle, getting the jal, and then walking 6 miles back, right? And then not stopping there, then doing seva all day, and then doing your bhakti, and then just getting one srupa at the end of the year, and that's it. In your ripped up clothes, that's like a tough thing, right? And you need to think back to Maharaj, be Maharaj ne kiddaan seva kiti. And then every time you kind of like, waver, think, I can't feel any connection. I can't, sort of just think about what Maharaj did. And our job is just to carry on doing seva. So that's one of the biggest things that, sort of we learn from Maharaj's jivan. Hanji.
Hanji. So another question is Sikhi Nastik or Astik according to the Veds authority?
Well, obviously the ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੇਦ ਆ they ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, so they talk about Paramatma as well, but obviously they focus more on you can't the Ved itself don't have a sort of like a sort of view on Sikhi, because the Veds written before, plus the Veds just talk about sort of Paramatma, but then obviously then you have the Simrtiyan afterwards as well, which kind of like goes more into sort of how the puja should be done and who has a right to do puja, and Brahmana di puja karni chahiye. So according to that, when you go further into that, then so wouldn't necessarily say, well, I don't know if you want to put Sikhi in according to those like scriptures, if you want to put in those, because Nastik basically means atheist, and I think Nastik howe Rab nu nahi manda, and so they don't consider Sikhi to be Nastik, but according to them they don't consider Sikhi to be Astik either, because to become Astik you have to follow, like you have to be Brahman da kam hai aa paath karne, puja karni, and obviously praying to jehda Vishnu da saroop mannde, jehde Vishnu de avatar hoye a, and then also Brahmana nu shreshth manna, Brahmana nu bhojan sikauna. So but obviously, and then jaat jehdi jaat manni, obviously we don't believe. So according to those, we don't follow any of those rules, so we are kind of Gnostic to their like belief, but we are not Gnostic that we don't believe in Paramatma, because we do believe in Paramatma, but we don't believe in their practices. So we are atheists to their practices, but we're not atheists because we believe in Paramatma. Yeah.
So do we reject the Veds? The follow-up question.
No, we have no sort of business with the Veds, because is just like, you know, that's their like dharm's text. But we will not get mukti through the Veds. No. So we don't want to like kind of spend our time and effort and energy on something that can't give us mukti, hai na? So like Maharaj says, like Ved, Kateb, Simrat, Sab Sast, in Padya Mukt na hui. So this is a shabd hai na, Panjਵੇਂ Pasha Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj da shabd ya ke Ved. So obviously the Ved jehde ne Hindu da Ved likhe. Kateb is the Islamic the so Abrahamic texts. So like you got the Torah, Bible, and the Quran. So they're the Katebs. And then you got the Simrtiyan. So Simrtiyan, another like Hindu Granth scriptures, Sab-Sast, and the Shastras as well, and the other Hindu Granths. Hai na? Then Maharaj says, in Padya Mukt na hui. Now reading those, you will not find mukti. You will not find liberation. And then the next line, Maharaj says, Ek akhar jo gurmukh jape, tiski nirmal soi. But those who attach themselves to that ek akhar Paramatma da naam jehda and then they will become nirmal. So meaning that once that they become nirmal, there's no mal, there's no filth. Then their union with Paramatma happens and they become mukt. So although we we don't kind of say anything else other than that, but we don't follow any of the sort of the Veds or the Kateb. So whether you say we reject them, is that rejecting them? If it's rejecting them, then it's rejecting them. Because Bani tells us that through them, Ved, Kateb, Simrat, Sab Sast, in Padya Mukt na hai, we will not we will not get mukti.
So the next question is, if someone takes money for doing seva at the Gurdwara, is that still some form of seva, or is only total nishkam seva true seva?
So like I was saying, so whichever sort of desire you do seva with, you will get what you want. So if that is still a seva, but if you're taking money, then that's the limit of your reward. That's all you're gonna get. So jede paise mil gaye, oh paise. So in Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj's times, when they were digging out the Sarovar, after the day would be done, so obviously there would people who would come and help out dig the Sarovar, yeah, and there'd be two queues. One queue was people who wanted to get paid, right, and the other that was just wanted Maharaj's bakshish, right. So and Maharaj would give both. So the people who would come and they just wanted a day's work. So they're like, they're doing some work over there. They're digging up the Sarovar. Let's go and work there for the day, and Maharaj pays us. So their reward was just limited to that money. So there was still they're still, even if the people are getting paid, so they're still doing the seva, but at the same time, the reward they're getting at the same time as well in the form of money, and that's all that will be restricted to. Whereas if you do Nishkam Seva, that is the seva that's going to, like I was saying, jari andar di malya, na. So mal is like your antishkaran. So it's just like a baggage it's like a debt that we carry. So to explain it in another analogy is a debt. So when we're born in this life, we are carrying our previous debts from other lives. Now, if you want to cut that debt off, then you have to do Nishkam Seva. And then once that debt's gone, and then obviously, then obviously you get prapti of Paramatma. But if you do for money or for any other desire, like sometimes people do seva, kai seva karde abhi mera. Some people do not just seva, even like sometimes people do part for reasons for desires. We want to put the chaida need and want a child, or some people who do some sort of people who do biyah nahi hunda, people want to get married, and then afterwards they do part saying mera biyah ho gaya Maharaj hun chadao phas gaya. So then they do do part for a different reason. So but in reality, all seva is pravan, and you get what you desire. But the ultimate seva is the nishkam seva, which is gonna clear your debt and give you prapti of Paramatma.
ठीक है जी. So the next question is, today's world is based on instant results. Everything is going faster and faster. How can we learn to be patient and slow down?
Yeah, so it's something that will require some hard work, and it's about detaching yourself from kind of this very like the question says, it's like we want instant results. We want to see if we do something, sometimes even before we've done it, we want to see results, and then but it's not easy, easy done. It's a difficult thing, but it's all about when you get into that game of love, there's like Maharaj say, prem di jehdi khed a jin prem kiyo, so it's about falling in love with shabad, with the word, it's falling in love with the Guru Sahib di Bani, and falling in love with sort of seva. When you do things out of love, then there is no like kind of notion of results. Like say, when you have, I don't know, if anybody on the group is married and have their kids. Obviously, I have a little daughter, so when I'm doing stuff for her, then I'm doing it out of love for her. Sort of ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਖਾਣ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, if she wants something to eat, or if she wants to go out and play, if he wants, even if I'm doing something, or even if I'm tired, or sort of I'm not feeling too well, but just to see her smile, just to kind of like sort of look after her needs, sort of I just do it out of love. She obviously she doesn't she doesn't pay me for it. I don't get any other reward for it, and to the point, even like, because my daughter, she's like more like mummy's girl, and so so she she doesn't kind of like me as much as she likes her mum, but it's like I do all those things for her without any kind of like itcha for anything back, sort of even if she hardly gives me a cuddle, so when I do get one, I'm lucky. I consider myself lucky, but I don't get anything like back for, even like sometimes emotionally, I don't get anything back from her, like cuddles or kisses or anything like that, or any like obviously monetary things. Certainly, she doesn't pay me for it, Daddy. Thanks for looking after me, for babysitting me today. Here's the 20 quid or whatever. So there's nothing there, but what's there is love, Hannah. You do it out of love. So unless we start doing, sort of seva and doing a bhakti simran out of love, then we'll always have that kind of, sort of at the back of our mind. But our company, I really wanted this. I really want to do this, but that's not happening. So we have to leave all that behind. But having said that, at the same time, if you do have any worldly needs as well, I'm not saying don't go to Guru Kar and don't do seva. Don't do seva like if you're gonna ask for something. Do seva even if you're asking for stuff. That's still okay. So sometimes if you got your exams or something, if you got a job interview or anything like that, if you feel like so it will bring you good luck, go and do seva and things like that. Please do that, because that way you're still keeping that connection with your Guru. Because after Maharaj has given you everything, there will come a point in your life where you will then go, Maharaj, you know what? I have got everything that I've ever asked for, right? Then I am so happy with what you've given me, Maharaj. But now I want the real thing. Then the realization will come at some point. So you have to keep that connection with Maharaj. So you'll start with those things where you have those desires, sort of icha, bhi mainu Maharaj, sort of aa chahiਦਾ, oh chahiਦਾ, and then you do that seva. But have that, sort of in your mind that is, you have to kind of like, work beyond that and go and rise above that, rise above the icha. And the way you just do that, you just keep doing your nitnem, and then you, without kind of, expecting anything back, you keep doing your seva, and getting your mind sort of, used to it. So once you become used to it, when your mind, becomes used to it, be main kaam karna hi hai, then the real kirpa then will start to happen.
So how can we be persistent, patient, and never forget our true aim? What is the key to persistence?
It's the ardas. Like Maharaj says that pavo dan teet hoy mango, hai na? So you have to become teet, you have to become like stubborn and keep doing ardas to Maharaj, right? So that is the first thing, is that we do ardas. The key is to do ardas to Maharaj and do true ardas to Maharaj, and also then do what you say that you're going to do. If you're saying to Maharaj, I'm gonna wake up Amrit Vela and I'm gonna read 5 Japji Sahibs, then wake up Amrit Vela and do 5 Japji Sahibs. But before that, just do ardas to Maharaj. That's the key thing, is keep doing ardas, and then also find sangat. Go to sangat and do the seva of sangat. Go to the Guru Ghar, do Pandyan di seva, do Jodyan di seva, do any kind of seva that you can find, and try and do seva that nobody else does. So perhaps jede koi karde, cut karde seva. So those are the key things really. The key is to keep doing your ardas and keep going to sangat, and then sitting down and listening to katha kirtan, and then just being in the company of sangat and do seva, basically.
So does reading Bani give you the same fal as doing Simran of Guru Mantra?
Hanji, yeah. So this was the because jehdi Bani hai na, Bani de vich naam hai. So this is how Guru Sahib explains it. It's like, how you have milk and then the butter is contained within the milk, hai na? It's the same thing, that the Bani contains the naam within it. So when you're reading Bani, that is that you're repeating the Shabad. So you may not be repeating Vaheguru Shabad, but you're still repeating the Shabad, hai na, that has come from Guru's Mukh, hai na? Guru de Mukhon jehdi Bani aayi. So it's doing abhyas of Bani, and it's the same thing. So it's not like one is more greater than the other, because it's all Shabad, hai na? However, we have a rat that Maharaj has given us, hai na? So which is that we are to do abhyas of Gur Mantra, that we are to do the abhyas of Vaheguru Gur Mantra, hai na? Because it's a powerful sort of mantra. And so what you have is, it's like what you have is different concentrations of something. So that's really concentrated. So that Gur Mantra is very concentrated, which meaning it has a within a short time, okay, it will give you sort of a power. It will give you a shakti which you have to then contain by reading Bani and by doing seva. So it all goes hand in hand. They're all intertwined. So like when Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj Pavan Shabd Gur Sat Gur Ka Jo Sikh Akhaye Hana So Palke Ut Har Naam Te Aave. So Guru Sahib Ji gives us the whole rat, what a Sikh supposed to do. So this is Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj's Bani, that whoever calls themselves a Sikh of the Guru, that they rise really early in the morning and then they do Naam Simran, Naam Japde, Vaheguru da Simran karde. And then Udam Kare Palke Prabhati Isnan Kare Amritsar Naave. So then they have their Ashnan. And then obviously then Maharaj says then Upadesh Guru Har Har Jap Jap. So so after that Guru Sahib Ji's Maharaj's Upadesh, his teachings, they meditate on Guru Sahib's teaching, and then Maharaj says Fir Chadai Divas Gurbani Gawe. So and then you read Gurbani. So all of it, what it does is it keeps the others sort of going. So when you do more Naam Simran, so Vaheguru Gur Mantra Simran, then it will then push you to do more Bani. So then you read more Bani. And then as you read more Bani, it will then get you to do more Simran. And the cycle, continues. But if we kind of stop following that the Rat Maharaj is given us, then you kind of will find it difficult to kind of get to where you're trying to get to. So that's why Maharaj is given us both. Guru da Shabad vi, Vaheguru Gur Mantra vi ditta, Mool Mantra vi ditta, te naale sari Gurbani vi ditti, Paath ditta, Jaap ditta, na? So they're all intertwined. Hanji.
Should we do Ardas for other people?
Right, that's a good question. Depends how much they're paying. Not only joking. That's a good question. So sometimes you'd get that. It depends really, because if someone's got some dukh in their life, right, and if you're doing Ardas for them, you might have to take some of that dukh upon yourself, because if you're trying to do Ardas for them. But also it depends on how you do the Ardas as well. Yes, as Gursikhs, we are there to do Ardas for people. We are there to obviously do Ardas for people. But you have to kind of, I'll give you an example here, but you have to be careful. There was a woman, she lives on our road, and she, as I was going somewhere, she said to me, Flana, her friend or something, I can't remember who it was now. She's saying, please, they're in a lot of pain. Can you please, another kar dukh bodya bhi tusi Gursikh hain, you guys are Gursikhs, can you do Ardas for them? And then I just started asking, मैं क्या कोई नहीं, मैं क्या तुसी Guru Ghar चले जाओ, let's go, come to the Guru Ghar and we can do Ardas, उत्थे ਆਪਾਂ Ardas कर लें Guru Maharaj ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ, in front of Guru Maharaj. And she goes, but they Radha Swamis, they उत्थे ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. And I was like, okay, so you want me to do Ardas for your friend to Guru Sahib, but वो आप Radha Swami are. But they're in a lot of dukh. So I was like, Maga, I said to her, Maga, dekho, we always here to help, because Gursikh da Parjya. But we have our own rat and rules as well. Maga, if they're really in dukh and chinta, tell them to come to the Guru Ghar. If you're gonna do Ardas to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, then you have to become a Sikh of Guru Nanak. So it doesn't work that way. So I'm just trying to explain to you. But the point I'm trying to make is sometimes people get you to do Ardas for them, but they just want a quick fix. They just want you to, they kind of like using you in a sense to, get the ardas done. So in that case, you have to be careful, So, I'll leave that to you to decide whether to do ardas for them or not. But if some like, some Sikh, or they come to you, they say, look, they're in a lot of difficulty, then you can do ardas for them. But it's the way that you do ardas, So there's two ways. Say like if someone's got dukh. Now this is another sort of hard to beat, like, it's a personal story somebody told me. The name's Gyani. I think you guys have heard of Gyani Gurdev. Some of you might have heard of Gyani Gurdev Singh from Australia, the Kirtan karde. And he was telling me, he goes, this lady came to him and they said, mere goddiyan ch bahut dard hunda hai, tusi ardas karo, hai na. He goes, I did ardas, and then what happened, that ode goddiyan di dard chali gayi, and he goes, my goddiyan's like, pain started, her pain went away, my godday started aching. And then he goes, the next day I did ardas to Maharaj. Maharaj, please, this is not what I was like, kind of, ardas hui mainu lag de. So please, like, kripa karo, like, take this pain away. So he goes, the pain went away. So sometimes that can happen, Hannah. So kai bari kise da dukh hunda, because you have to remember, we receive dukh in our lives because of our previous karmas. That's why the dukh comes to us, and there's a reason why the dukh is there. So dukh is then, if we are to then use that dukh to kind of like, turn it into daru, like dawa, medicine, then that's what it's really there for. It's there for, not sometimes Maharaj tests us, but most of the time it's because we've done something in our previous life that we are paying for it. So we can't really take anyone's dukh away. So in that case, when you do ardas for somebody, it's the way you do ardas. I say, Maharaj, the word that you can use is Maharaj, that this person, you can say the name, has come to you for this reason, for this pain, for this dukh. Aap ji kripa karo, bakshish karo, that sort of help them however you feel fit. So gurmat ansar nadi madad karo. So there's ways of doing ardas as well, and then who you do ardas for. So it's like not a simple kind of straight answer. So those are the things to watch out for, Hanji.
So just to follow up, when you are doing ardas for someone else, is that your own? Are you like essentially cashing out your own bhakti?
Yeah, you can. The thing is, you can do which. So it's like you are, when you, like I'm saying, so they are in that dukh or pain or suffering because of their karma, Hannah. So that karma has to level out. Somebody has to pay for that karma. So whether you choose to take their debt, or like or they do it themselves, right? That's how it works. So you can. I have to be careful, how I answer that question, because I don't want to like kind of discourage people saying, no, kisi di ardas karni nahi, we're not going to do anyone's ardas, like anyone comes to us say, no, nahi karni. So we shouldn't be scared to do like ardas, like that. But it can, you have to bear that in mind, that it can happen, that sort of when you are trying to do ardas for somebody, you are kind of like taking something away from your kamai, so yeah, so it is that is true as well.
Okay, so the next question is, I did not understand the benefits of doing seva. So if I do seva with a wish in mind, I will get my wish, but my bad karmas will not be cleansed. Also, you mentioned seva can control mind. Can you please expand on that?
Yeah, so what you have is, like I was saying, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, so Maharaj says that Guru Sahib ji ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਦਾ, it's like a sar of all like sevas. So what we have is man buddh, so chit te anand, like this is what your inside your antashkaran is. So when you're doing seva, so there's three things that true nishkam seva, nishkam meaning without any desire. When you do seva without any desire, है ना, it will get rid of your mal. So mal meaning that the mal, the filth, or explained as your debt, the debt of your karms. Yeah. So that will get rid of the nishkam seva will get rid of that first thing. Tani mal jehdi oh le jandi hai. And then not just the debt, but some of those characteristics as well. Forget my word right. Meaning, say, like, somebody who, like you've heard of this, when sometimes, Punjabis are talking, like, say, oh, kidan kutte wang bhonkda, right, hana? Or sometimes they say, kidan, sort of, sap wangu, paise naal pyar karda, like, meaning that when we've gone through some of those junes, those attributes are still with us. That, sort of some people who are like, really like, chor sabha, like, some people are troubled with a lot of anger. Sometimes people troubled with a lot of lust, kind of like different ones. Some people have a lot of greed. Is because of our previous like lives that we've led, is that in those lives we have accumulated that, either that lust or that krodh, that so gussa. Some people are really angry, is because of that's another part of their what they've collected over their previous life forms. So not only like your bad karma, but also those attributes which define you. Sometimes banda, that person is really angry, that person is really like lustful, that person is really greedy, so things like that. So what nishkam seva does, it will get rid of all those attributes as well. And then also it'll get rid of all the bad karmas that you've done as well. So, and then that's one thing it'll do, one thing. And then the other thing it does is what's called a vikhep. Now, vikhep is jada man di chanchalta. So chanchal meaning like, your man is, I'm trying to think what's the English word for chanchal. If anybody knows, then, please tell us, sort of, fickle, I think, so that one word comes to mind. Mind is like, very fickle. So odi man di jehdi chanchalta hai na, oh bani rendi hai. So it's that will, when he changes, sort of kadi kush, that he can't really sit in one place, and bada chanchal hai. So that's called vikhep. So what you'll get is you'll get vikhep, meaning you will get control over your mind, mandi chanchalta. So mind will become less fickle. So which means you'll be able to focus on Simran, you'll be able to focus on Gurbani a lot more. So that's the vikhep that it does. And then the third one it gives. So first one was the mal, gets rid of the mal. Then it gives you vikhep, and then the third one is avarn, right? So avarn meaning that jeda agyanata jehdi na sort of oh tut jani, meaning that like when we read in Japji Sahib, kev sachiara hoiya, kev kuda tutta pal. So kuda hunda like falsehood, hai na? So there is that veil of falsehood that doesn't let us see the reality, what is real, which meaning that doesn't let us, see Paramatma. So we know that Paramatma, Vaheguru, God is everywhere, right? But we can't see Vaheguru everywhere, right? What we see is things. We see a tree, we see leaves, but we can't see the Paramatma within it. Yeah. So that is the what you call is Kurdi Pal. That's the pal of falsehood that doesn't let us see it. So what the seva does, it gives us that avarn, meaning he gives us that gyan, that wisdom from inside. It's just like turning on the light. It turns on that light from inside. So all that darkness, that is because of that darkness, you can't see Paramatma. What it does is that seva will give you that avarn, meaning jeri kiv sachara huye kiv kuda tutte paal hukum rajai chalna nanak likha naal. So that kood di paal, that veil of falsehood will be destroyed through seva. So that's the third thing. And then obviously once you start seeing the reality of what Maya is and where you are within the whole of this kind of system, which is Maya, this world, and then you start to then properly like make progress, then you realize it's just like basically like saying, say if you are, if you've gone on holiday, right, and you're there to stay in this hotel room for 2 days, right? And then rather than, go out and then enjoy, right, where you've gone that time, if you start then painting the walls, some color that, oh, maybe this will look really nice. Actually, let me go and buy a new bed. I'll put that here, right? Or let me just, buy these things for decoration. I'll change this light, I'll change this, I'll put a chandelier in. But the thing is, you forget to realize that you're in a hotel room, that you're going to leave into everything that you do to that hotel room is of no use, right? Whilst you're there, and that's it. It's just like all that is just wasted, right? You don't, and the bubble that we're living in now is just, this is the same thing. We're on this earth with the time that we're here. We are like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be this. And, sort of we create this, thing, facade all around us without realizing that this is all like this is like meaningless, right? I really need to focus on, the real reason. But because of Maya, because of that falsehood, you can't see it, and it doesn't let you realize. But what Seva does, that's the third thing you obtain from Seva. That's called the Avarn. So then you get that true, like, sort of, gyan, andro gyan jehda aaya, fir oh bhi paida hunda. So ਤਿੰਨ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਿਸ਼ਕਾਮ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. But at the same time, like I was saying, but ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, you have to do your simran. It's all intertwined, and you have to read your bani as well.
Just a few more questions left. So when you prepare for doing talks about Guru Sahib's life, which resources do you use for reference, like any specific granth or videos from other Guru Sikhs?
Yeah, so it's like a group of things. So you can obviously, you've got Pant Prakash, you've got Suraj Prakash Granth. So Suraj Prakash, Pant Prakash, and then obviously there's like in sort of Mema Prakash Granth as well, and then obviously there's a lot of Gatha as well that you can sort of listen to, but only listen to Katha like, or personally, sort of, like, Mahapurkhs that have done Katha, that they have a lot of prem and Shraddha, so they will always put you on the right path. So listening to the Katha, looking at those grunts, and then, yeah, so, those things really mainly that, the resources that you go to. And then obviously, like, these days, you can always go on Google and, sort of, but trouble you find with Google is that you might find like, 100 pages, but it's all copy and paste to the same thing. So, so to really understand, so you got like, Suraj Prakash Granth, you got Pant Prakash, then you obviously, Gurbilas Patshahi, Shemi, Gurbilas Patshahi, Dasmi, then you've got, Mema Prakash, so all these different granths.
So you mentioned Nishkamata, having no wishes. Can Simran also help with this, or is Seva the only way?
No, it's both the same. It's Seva and Simran, Domya. So like, the way you gotta look at it, it's like a bird, the two wings, Seva and Simran. The bird can't fly with just one, so you have to have both. Simran bhi hona chahiye to Seva, because what happens is Simran will it'll keep your seva going, and the seva will keep your simran going. Because kai vari when you're doing sevas, sorry, simran bhakti bani, sometimes man de vich ahankar aa janda, home aa jandi, ego sort of comes in mind. So to control your ego and then keep everything like so it's just like, say, you know what you have when you put money in a bank, right? Banks will have a security system, huh? So that security, that your money doesn't get stolen. It's the same thing. Our security of retaining that Naam Bani is through seva and through being humble.
Can we do Ardas anywhere in whatever state we are in? For example, Gupt Ardas in a crowd with shoes on, etc. Or do we need to properly shower, read Nitnim, and then do Ardas?
No, so you can do Ardas in any state where you are, huh? So ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਗੀ, like obviously, sometimes you need I'll give you an example. Like we were at I think we went to India via Dubai, because we were on the Emirates flight, and then when we got there, they made a big there was like a group of us, and then they made a big issue about our kare, so they wanted us to take a kare off, but we wouldn't take a kare off, so we said, look, sort of, you don't have to, like, you can check us with the that little wand that they have, right? But they were like, being really like sort of arsy, sort of really difficult, and John K, they're like, so they started laughing and all sorts at us, and we were like, we want to talk to a manager, and then they would come and they're like, oh yeah, I'm the manager, how can I help? And then they'd laugh and then go away. So it became really ridiculous, and we were like, so what the hell's going on here? They obviously, our flight was leaving, so we decided we're just going to do Ardas. So we just did Ardas at the airport in Dubai, and then Maharaj did his miracle. And then we have this officer just coming, and he was like, what's going on here? And we explained what's happening. Then he basically got all of us to go through the machine without, sort of taking our curry off. And then, as we were leaving, they all like surrounded him. Obviously, they were like started arguing with him. But sada kam ban gaya, like, we were able to. So did Ardas there. So sometimes you can't wait. You can't go and have Ishnan, be sucha and things like that. Sometimes a situation requires you to do Ardas there and then. So you can do, if you can take your jode off, then yes, take your jode off. But if you can't, then you can't. So, yeah.
And does seva only count as Hathi seva, or do other things like helping people online also count?
Yeah, I mean, that's also, if you're helping somebody or teaching somebody, like, say, kirtan or something or whatever, that's still seva. So but Hathi seva is obviously like, Maharaj given us, like, so we make our hath pavitra as well, seva can come in any form, but it is important to do Hathi seva as well, if we can go to and physically do seva as well, ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂ ਲੰਗਰ ਦੀ ਜਾਂ ਜੋੜਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ.
What if we do seva because our wish is to reach Vaheguru? Is that still Nishkam seva?
To reach Vaheguru?
Yep, to reach Vaheguru.
Okay, so yeah, so it is so that is the only ichha, that is like the nirmal ichha, so like, sort of Guru Sahib Ji's Pavan Shabd mangana nika har jas gurte mangana, so like, we should ask Maharaj for some people. What should we ask? I say mangana nika. But to ask for Guru Sahib Ji, just for Guru Sahib Ji's praise, is a good thing to ask for. So obviously, if your kamna is the prapti of Paramatma, then that is one kamana, one ichha that is nirmal ichha. So there is that kamana, but it hasn't got the sort of what you call it, the side effects, right? So everything else has a side effect. But asking Maharaj for more Naam, Bani and Simran and darshan of Vaheguruji, like that's still like a want, but that's one thing, want, like Bani says, the a mangna changaya, that this comes without any side effects, huh? So yeah, that's okay. Paramatma de naal milap.
So I sing Kirtan and we go as a jatha to different Gurdwara. The committees pay the money to the jatha, but I myself don't want the money. Do I return my share to the Gurdwara for it to be counted as Nishkam Seva, or do I just let the jatha have it?
I'll tell you what, I'll give you my sort code and card. No, only joking. You can. The thing is, once I this was a bhajan that was said to me by this Nihang Singh, sort of Parlatari Mahakal. They, because I never used to take any money for when I used to do kirtan or something. I didn't used to take any money, Hannah. But he said to me and said, look, don't go with the desire to take money for kirtan or any seva that you do. But however, if you are getting the seva, if they are giving you the seva, then that seva comes from Sangat, that seva comes from Guru Maharaj. That is yours. You can keep it. Right? So, but he said never demand for seva. But ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ, like so we'll come and do kirtan, but we want X amount of money, huh? So he said never do that. But if they give you money, then keep it. That's your money. That's Sangat's giving you, Maharaj is giving you that money. Or ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, you can use that money, right? But that money is yours, huh? Once you've got it, you can, if you want to, you can give it. I would speak to the jatha, like the people you go with. Sometimes, the jatha I go with, I do say to them, but because I don't have like a normal jathani, obviously, Gagan Singh's come with me a few times, so but there are sometimes they're like, if you having to call someone, especially say tade naal jaan waste, I would always ask the jatha, do you have like a peta that you ask for, Hannah? And then if they do, then I would give it to them. But in your case, if the Guru Kar is giving you that peta, Hannah, you should give it to your jatha. And then if the jatha, and you can give your share if you want to, but sort of give it to the jatha, and then it's up to them what they want to do with it, Hannah. So personally, like I said, this is what I was told. This was my bhajan, that never ask for it. But if they give you the seva, that's come from Sangat, and look at it, that's come from Sangat and come from Maharaj. So, take it and you can use it.
Yeah, and the final question. How do you travel on planes and go through security with your kirpans and kade?
Okay, kirpan is a bit more trickier than the kada. Obviously, kada you can, obviously certain countries, the trick you can use, which is what I learned, is you go into this is the kada, basically what you just say to them, you can't, it doesn't come off. Yeah, so it's a little white lie, or if your comes off, then you're saying. But the thing is, it's more important for me to keep my kada on if I can, then obviously to tell them a little white lie, so I always say that, because if you start arguing with them, saying like, oh look, this is part of faith, why are you asking me to take my kada off, and people start being arsy, they're like, no, then they're like, oh, now I'm going to make him take his kada off now, right? So so just to kind of keep it simple. Say, look, it doesn't come off, right? And they're like, okay, then you have to do extra security checks. But with the Kirpan, I know some Singhs who have that Prosan Maharaj and do Ardas, and there is there's a shabad that they read of Sheme Pasha, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, whilst they're doing that, and they go through security, and their Kirpan doesn't get detected, or even if it gets detected, even if it beeps, they're not stopped. So they just carry on. So you have to have that belief in Maharaj, and then you have to know that shabd of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. And before somebody asks, what is that shabd? Is that shabd you can't give out that shabd like that. So that shabd is not Gurbani, obviously, because that's Sheme Pasha. But Maharaj gave that shabd to his Gursikhs. By the way, I haven't got that shabd. But I know some Singhs who have. So the thing with that shabd is it has to be given to you in person by another Singh. So it's not something that I can just text people or like something like that. So for it to work, it has to be given to another from one Gursikh to another in person. So and they have to memorize it. So and that's what they do. So and they walk. They get on the planes with their Kirpan. So no issues.
So let's have one more question, actually. Just one.
Mm-hmm.
So the only Gurdwara near my city is full of Sangat who go there to gossip and stare at others. I don't do seva there anymore because of this. What should I do?
Well, yeah. Well, it's if you can go to another but you'll find that most places people do like have a bit of a goth. But if you can just kind of there's two ways you can do. If you don't have any other choice to go to another gurukar where you can do seva, but you do seva without kind of having anything in your mind about those people, and just look at those people as a roop of Paramatma, and that's another roop of Paramatma. That those people are only there to gossip, but there's the way you do seva, the way you serve them is the way you look at them as just Guru Di Sangat, right? And that's it. So in your frame of mind, you're not looking at they're doing gossip or nothing. You're looking at them. They've come to the Gurukar and they're Guru Di Sangat, and I'm going to do seva. So if you do seva like that with that frame of mind, then you'll get the same benefits of doing seva of sangat, like real sangat, non-gossiping sangat. Right? You'll get the fal for the same, even though those people are not those people are not those people, like proper sangat. They're just gossip people. But if you do their seva with the bhavana, with the intent, but you view them as Guru Di Sangat, change ne, these people are change. They're Paramatma's jyot is in those people, and you do the seva with that frame of mind, then you get the same fal of doing seva of changi sangat jehdi keh lo. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah.
Chika, I think I think that is it. Yeah, I think that was the last question. I don't think anyone had any follow-ups or anything. But Pasabji, thank you so much for coming again. Because whenever I do a Hambenta to you always accept. So thank you so much, Pasab. Yeah, बहुत ही ज़्यादा शुक्र है ਤੁਹਾਡਾ।
No. Thank you for inviting me to do talks. So it's just like you obviously then have to kind of look up, do a bit of research, then you learn, yourself. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, बिल्कुल जी. And I'm just gonna so everyone in question box I've posted Bhai Sab's Facebook. They post some, sometimes some funny videos on there, so you can check them out. And then obviously also their PayPal link is there as well. So please do contribute there as well if you enjoyed the kata. Then don't forget to do that. So yeah, इतने समाप्ति कर लेंगे भाई साहब जी.
हाँ जी, ठीक है. So we'll finish there. So that's good. So we'll see you guys next time.
हाँ जी बिल्कुल जी. Thank you so much again भाई साहब जी. ठीक है जी. फतेह जी. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.
ਸੋ ਫਤਿਹ ਪਾਵੇ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਮਨੂੰ ਭਾਵੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ
ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ
ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.